In this video, I would like to share with you 5 secrets that will help you to work on your own mindset. So go to the link in the description below or above and download my free worksheet that will help you to guide you through the whole video and make sure you get the most out of it. So, no excuses and let's get started. Secret number 1 is to embrace all your emotions. We often have the feeling that there are good emotions and bad emotions. And I think that's completely BS. Because emotions are not good or bad, they are comfortable or uncomfortable. And we have this tendency to just focus on the good emotions, the emotions that make us feel comfortable, that uplift us, that make us feel good. And that's why we're tagging them good emotions. And the other emotions, we try to avoid them. We are a bit ashamed maybe. We just don't want to have those in our lives. And what I learned, and I can really recommend that to also explore this, is that actually the uncomfortable emotions, they have also a very useful function in processing what you're going through. Let me give you an example. Crying. We often believe it's bad to cry, especially we men. We have this tendency of like, oh, we should not cry, we should be strong, and like, yeah, I'm always good and fine. And I don't think that's useful. Crying has a very important function of processing what you go through. So has anger, so has sadness, so has like going through stress, like a lot of emotions that we in the first place think like, oh no, we don't want to have those in our lives. They're actually very useful and constructive to go through what we have to go through. So if you hold those emotions back, it's very bad for your health and for your energy because they don't flow out. So you keep it in your system. And that's why I'm saying embrace all your emotions. Try to let them flow. Try not to be ashamed and hold them back. Try to let them out, because then it gets out of the system. It gets out of your body and you will feel released. You see that when you cry. I mean, when you have a good cry, often after that you feel released and you feel better. And that's what I mean. Like holding back uncomfortable emotions is not good for your health and your well-being. Now, how can you do that? There are different techniques. I can share with you some that I use. Like when I'm sad, I'm not holding back my tears. I like this saying, like, if you don't cry, another organ will cry for you. So I just allow myself to be sad and cry and let it out. What I do a lot is journaling. I write a lot, uncensored. I try to name, to describe the emotions that I feel. And this is a very useful trick, because you have to understand, let's see, when you get emotional, your heart starts pumping, you get nervous, you feel the density, the stress inside of yourself. And then the next thing that happens is like, you get angry, like, why am I like sad? Why am I angry? Why am not like happy? And if you stay in this circle of like observing the first emotionality and then you get like angry over it, it's like a vicious cycle. And what you can do is you can take a step back and just say, interesting, it seems like I'm emotional. Or, how fascinating, it seems like I'm sad. And so by taking this step back, you somehow detach yourself from this vicious cycle. It doesn't mean that the emotion is away, it just means that you're not identifying so much anymore with it. And like writing and taking a pen and writing down and learning the vocabulary to describe what is actually going on in your body, like where do you feel it, how is it, will help you to make the emotion not so intimidating. It makes it like more accessible. And so this is something I can really recommend. If you're now in an emotional phase, like you're tired of, let's say, the pandemic or something else is going on in your life, just take a pen and describe what you feel. And like just say, how fascinating. Let's see what this is. Like let's make a painting about it. Like let's put it into words. Like just detach yourself from this vicious cycle of being inside of the emotion. So That's the tip number one, or the secret number one that I use. Like, embrace all your emotions. Like, hug all your emotions. Like, they're just part of your processing of your healing. Tip number 2 has to do with changing your perspective. Like, when you face a challenge, what often happens is that we end up in saying like, oh, why me? Why is life throwing that at me? Like, why again? And it's so hard. And we get into this victim role. And a more constructive way of looking at what you're going through is asking yourself, like, what does the situation want to tell me? What does the situation want to tell me? Like, this is now a moment where you can grab your piece of paper or your book and your journal and the pen and just take a moment and sit down. And no matter what you're going through, like, what is it that actually life wants to tell you? Like, a challenge, a tricky situation is always an opportunity to take a closer look and say, okay, seems like something is not going right. So what does life want to tell me? And you will have very interesting insights. That doesn't mean that with these insights and like changing something in your life, everything will change from one day to the other. But it will definitely change how you approach your situation. And that is something that has an uplifting energy. So yeah, maybe you want to pause quickly the video, or you do it after you watch the video. Like, take a piece of paper and just write it down and see what pops up. It's very, very interesting. And so a lot of times then what happens is like you find something and then you have to change, or you feel an urgency to change something in your life. And I'm happy to share with you like what, in my opinion and my perspective, most people do wrong when it comes to this step, because they block themselves. They say, okay, I'm like this and I'm not like that. I make you an example. A lot of people say, okay, I'm not sportive. I'm like to do something else. And when you do that, before you're trying it out, you block yourself from an opportunity. So what I believe is a much more constructive way of, when you want to change something in your life, rather than saying I'm this and I'm not that, is like, okay, let's try it first and then let's see if I like it. Like an example from running, like if you say I'm not a runner, how do you know? Like, go running. And not once, because that's what most people do wrong. They go once and then they like, okay, maybe that's not for me. And then they put the running shoes on the corner, they throw it away and whatever. Like, go and run 5 times. Not every day, but like over the period of 2-3 weeks. Like, do it multiple times. And then after that you decide, okay, how does it make me feel? Like, in many cases, you will discover a side of yourself, something inside of you that you are just cognitively, with your mindset, with your head blocking, and like, no, I'm not like this, I'm like that. But like, how do you know? Like, this is my secret number 3. It's a big part of my life philosophy. It's like trial and error. Like, try it out and then decide. Be bold, be curious, and be playful. Like, don't take it so serious and just try something else. So that's secret number 3, trial and error. All right, so that brings us to number 4. And that's one of my favorites. Secret number 4, if you want to become stronger in your mindset, if you want to strengthen your mindset, is to accept where you are. Too much of the time in our lives, we have this ideal outcome, this ideal image of where we should be, like how we should be able to react emotionally, mentally, professionally, you name it. And then we observe, okay, I'm not there, and we see this gap, and we are like disappointed. We're like, oh man, I'm never gonna be there. And that's really, really bad for working on your mindset, for developing a stronger how you say, mentality to deal with challenges. Because when you just see where you're not rather than where you are, you're always getting disappointed. So a much better approach, a more constructive approach is to really accept where you are. Ask yourself the following, like, what is the smallest step that I can do today so I feel better tomorrow? So that was tip number 4, and now come to the last one, which I think is the most important one. Show yourself some love. What do I mean? Or what is included in this tip is that when we think about mindset, we often believe, okay, you just have to watch an inspiring talk of a spiritual leader and then everything is rewired and you just are a new person. And it's not like that. Like, acquiring a strong mindset needs time. It needs practice and it needs repetition. And so when you don't manage after watching a video or like after reading an inspiring book or going to an interesting workshop, like the very next week to change everything in your life and just having from one day to the other an amazing strong mindset, I can just tell you, that's totally normal. Like, that's how the brain works. That's like, we are not talking about a computer program that you can hack. And that's why I don't like this saying how to hack your brain. You cannot hack your brain. You can like let your brain grow and change and adapt, but it needs time. It's a biological system, so it has to build new synapses, new ways of transmitting information, new ways of seeing the world. And like learning a language, you don't learn that in one afternoon. Like, if you want to learn Chinese, it takes some time. And the same thing is like, if you want to get a stronger mindset, it takes time. And that should not demotivate you. It should like help you to forgive yourself if you're not making the progress in the speed that you wish you would make. So show yourself some self-love. And then, and that's very, very important, when you do it, be proud of yourself that you did. Like, take your hand and clap yourself on your shoulder, or maybe on both. Like really show yourself some love, some encouragement that you did this small step, because that means you're already one step closer to a strong mindset than the day before. So that's my secret and very personal tip of like how to get a strong mindset. Like, take it one little step at a time. That's how you do it, and then show yourself some self-love. So that are 5 personal secrets how I try to keep my mindset strong. And I'm saying not to get it, because you never get it. You're always working on it. It can always it's always evolving, like how I'm working on my mindset. I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know what you think, or if you have other tips and tricks how to keep a strong mindset. And I'm looking very much forward to see you here next time. Bye bye.